Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into something I think literally all of us can relate to: the wild psychology of love, attachment, and, well, why we almost always seem to ignore those massive glowing red flags in our relationships. Let's get right into it. So, I want you to really think about this for a second. Why do we keep falling for the exact same toxic patterns? You know the drill, right? You meet someone new, you're super optimistic, you tell yourself, okay, this time is going to be completely different. And then, boom, you wake up and you're in the exact same painful loop. It's almost like there's this invisible magnet just pulling us right back into dynamics we absolutely know are going to hurt us. The material we're unpacking today actually has this brilliant metaphor for this. Think about driving. You know that feeling when you see a red traffic light up ahead, but you kind of just whisper to yourself, I'll just speed past it, nothing's going to happen. That is exactly what we do in romance. We see a warning sign. Maybe it's a weird reaction or a totally offhand comment, and your gut is screaming, uh-oh, something's wrong here. But instead of slamming on the brakes, we just mute that inner voice. We say stuff like, oh, I'm just overreacting, or they'll change. We end up treating our love lives like a risky science experiment. All right, moving to our first section, danger signs in relationships, recognizing the true red flags. So, to stop running these emotional red lights, we have to know what a real red flag actually looks like. Because look, we've got to distinguish between just a normal human flaw and a fatal run-for-the-hills red flag. If your partner is occasionally forgetful, or they get a little snappy during a crazy week at work, those are just normal flaws. You can totally talk through those. But abuse, emotional manipulation, constantly stomping all over your boundaries, or just straight up lying, those are fatal red flags. You can't compromise with that kind of behavior. They're basically blaring alarms telling you to get out before you completely lose yourself. Let's actually break down a couple of the trickiest ones out there. First up is love bombing. This is when things move suspiciously fast, like whiplash fast. Your new partner is excessively charming, treating you like you're the absolute center of the universe on day 2, and dropping the marriage or forever word within a couple of weeks. Now, it feels amazing, right? But honestly, it's usually a psychological trap. It's designed to hook you and make you totally dependent on them before the real manipulative behavior starts. Remember, genuine love actually takes time to build. And then, of course, we have gaslighting. You've probably heard the term, but it's a really severe manipulation tactic where a toxic person essentially twists reality. Let's say they do something to hurt you and you call them out on it. Instead of apologizing, they flip the entire script. They'll say, wow, you're way too sensitive, or you're making a huge deal out of literally nothing. The goal here is to make you doubt your own memory and, frankly, your own sanity so that all the blame shifts right back onto you. Okay, section 2, are you the red flag? Turning the mirror on ourselves. Now, it's super easy to point fingers, right? But to really grasp how these relationship dynamics work, I need to ask you a kind of tough but absolutely necessary question. Could your own actions actually be the warning signs driving people away? Sometimes, and usually without even realizing it, we bring our own unhealed baggage right into our relationships, and we end up creating a really exhausting environment for our partners. Let's get specific. What do these internal red flags actually look like? Well, are you expecting your partner to just magically read your mind and then getting furious when they don't? Or maybe you disguise overly controlling behavior as just caring a lot. Do you find it literally impossible to just say, I'm sorry? Or maybe you're always playing the victim, which just totally drains the person you're with. Recognizing these things in ourselves, it's not about feeling guilty or beating yourself up. It's actually the very first, absolutely vital step to personal growth and building connections that are actually healthy. Moving on to section 3, the subconscious autopilot, the psychological roots of wrong emotional choices. So why do we do this? Why do we actively choose partners who are wrong for us? Well, psychological research shows it's not an accident at all. Our minds are basically hardwired to seek out comfortable familiarity. Really think about that phrase for a second. If you grew up in a chaotic, unpredictable house, well, chaos feels like home. It feels familiar. Your brain literally tries to recreate those past environments, or tries to somehow fix your childhood traumas by gravitating towards partners who replicate that painful past. Without realizing it, you've started to associate love with anxiety. Which brings us to section 4, the 4 attachment styles, your secret relationship map. This subconscious programming creates what psychologists call a secret relationship map, and it dictates exactly how we act in love. The trick is figuring out where you sit on this map. If you've got a secure attachment style, you generally view love as a safe place. You trust fairly easily, and you can handle conflicts like a healthy adult. But if your needs weren't met consistently growing up, you might lean anxious. That means you view love as super unstable. You're terrified of being abandoned, and you need a ton of constant reassurance. Now, if your caregivers were really distant, you might be avoidant. You probably view love as suffocating, so you seek extreme independence just to protect yourself. And finally, there's the disorganized style. This one is a really chaotic mix of desperately wanting intimacy, but being totally terrified of it at the same time, usually because of deeper trauma. Once you understand this map, it makes total sense why we subconsciously chase people who confirm our deepest and honestly most painful beliefs about love.
All right, Section 5, the illusion of saving them, the I can fix them complex.
This leads us into one of the biggest, most dangerous traps in modern dating. We really need to draw a hard line between true love and the savior complex. True love, that's a partnership of equals. It's built on total acceptance and mutual support. You're growing together. The savior complex, though, that's when you basically appoint yourself as your partner's unpaid therapist. You jump into the relationship with this secret, underlying mission to fix all their flaws or heal their past trauma. And let me tell you, carrying that completely unbalanced responsibility, it will completely drain your energy, destroy your boundaries, and eventually erase your own identity. I really want you to let this psychological truth sink in. Changing the other person is not your responsibility. And honestly, it's not even possible unless they truly want to change themselves. Look, you're not a superhero. And your love, no matter how massive or deep it is, cannot magically cure someone who flat out refuses to do their own inner work. Trying to force it is just going to drag you down right alongside them. Next up, Section 6, breaking the toxic cycle, rewiring your brain for healthy love. So how on earth do we actually get out of these painful loops? Well, it starts with a serious brain rewire. First off, we have to completely ditch this cinematic myth that love equals drama. You know, movies always tell us that true passion means screaming at each other in the pouring rain, or these wild bouts of extreme jealousy. Guys, that is not love. That's a toxic addiction. That's just you getting an adrenaline rush from the crazy highs and lows. Healthy love, on the flip side, is stable. It's peaceful. It's about mutual respect and feeling totally emotionally safe. Now, if you're used to absolute chaos, peace might actually feel a little boring at first. But trust me on this one, peace is absolutely the ultimate goal. Okay, so here is your actual real-world roadmap to breaking this cycle. Step 1, you've got to be brutally honest with yourself. Observe your patterns and pinpoint exactly what your attachment style is. Step 2, consciously challenge those deeply held inner beliefs. You have to literally remind yourself every single day that love does not have to hurt. Step 3, set firm, non-negotiable boundaries. If someone speeds past a fatal red flag, you walk away. No excuses, period. And step 4, actively learn how to find joy in stability. Let yourself get used to a partner who doesn't keep you guessing all the time. A partner who just makes you feel totally safe. And that actually brings us to the end of this explainer. But before we wrap up, I really want to leave you with this one final thought to chew on. We all know exactly what those red warning lights look like now, right? So the big question is, are you going to keep speeding right past them, crossing your fingers and just hoping for a different outcome? Or are you finally ready to hit the brakes, realize your own value, and consciously choose your own peace? The choice is 100% yours. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.